Mr. Giuliani, thank you so much for your time. The U.S.-Paraguay match drew approximately 25 million viewers. That's a record for the U.S. men's national team. Is the U.S. finally becoming a soccer nation?
I'll tell you what, they keep playing like that for another 7 games. What an amazing, amazing way to start your World Cup. That team looks so good. Team that looked like they could make a deep run, maybe shock the world. I think when we go through this summer, it's really cool now to see the matches started, having seen all the time put in, all the hours, the years that all the host committees have put in, federal government has put in over the last year to really get the country ready for this. It's fun now to be talking about what's on the pitch, to be able to see these great, impressive athletic feats from these athletes. I think this U.S. team can do something very, very special. And what a summer it would be for the U.S. men's national team to go on a deep, incredible run over America's 250th birthday.
President Trump notably did not attend the first inaugural match for the U.S. men's national team. Is he planning to attend any of the other matches?
So the thing I'll tell you about my boss and friend of 30 years is he likes a cliffhanger. So all I will tell you is just stay tuned. There are always going to be some surprises with President Trump. He called the team the night before. I could tell you that call was fantastic. I spoke to the president actually right after the match on Friday. He was so thrilled for the team. And you could see that the team was really calm and collected, ready to go. It was very cool from my perspective to see Coach Pochettino saying what ended up being some very similar words that the president did, which was, hey, this is your moment. Have fun. Enjoy this. Play the game that you've been playing since you're a little boy out there. So it's been, from my perspective, awesome to see.
And I'm sure you're urging the president to, at one point, attend one of the matches.
Yeah. Oh, and look, he will. He's excited that the World Cup is here. He's a little busy. You've got a G7 coming up next week. Obviously, the UFC fight. So there are all different kinds of major events here, and the president is obviously focused on some of the more pressing policy issues as well.
I want to talk about security for the World Cup. As you know, this World Cup is historic for many different reasons. 48 teams, the largest group ever. You have 11 host cities here in the U.S., 3 host countries in North America. Do you have any concerns about your ability to secure such a sprawling, large-scale event with millions of spectators?
And I think that is the biggest challenge, the fact that the footprint is so large, it's so massive. When you think about, for our remit, 11 cities, across 78 matches. Then you add in Canada, you add in Mexico. I think the thing that's been so impressive to me, though, is that coordination between state and local law enforcement and federal law enforcement. It's been unbelievable to watch. You're talking about over 400 different law enforcement organizations that are involved in this just from the United States. Then you think about the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Canada. You think about Mexico and the work that we've done with them. It's been impressive to see that coordination, and even just the work with Canada and Mexico, certainly over the last couple of months. You think on counter-UAS mitigation, that's been absolutely amazing. Also thinking on the health measures, right? Some of the challenges going on in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and in Uganda right now, and making sure that the Title 42 policies that exist in the United States were in line in Canada and Mexico well, considering the DRC is playing their second match in Guadalajara. They did. It's been great to see that coordination. It's been really great to see that coordination all around the country. And frankly, that's going to be really key this summer, not just for the World Cup, but for all of the incredible events around America's semi-quincentennial. Law enforcement will be stressed to the max. We need to make sure that they're communicating very well, so that way if a beat cop is seeing something, let's say in Fair Park in Dallas, that we need to know about, so that way we can tell some NYPD officers, so that way they see the same thing around Rockefeller Center, we can deconflict that, and we can ultimately make steps before any incident could happen.
So far, and the World Cup just started, have you detected any security concerns or lapses?
What I can tell you is no major security incidents now. There are always things going on behind the scenes to make sure that we're talking about what's happening on the pitch, all these great matches, and we'll continue to do that over the next 35 days to make sure that this World Cup is safe and secure. As of right now, it's been good, but we continue to focus on a 24/7 basis. We have a National Operations Center stood up for this, just for that very purpose, that's plugged in with each of the 11 regional operation centers. We have a federal liaison officer in every single one of the base camps. We have federal coordination teams that are in each of the cities. And that's to make sure that that coordination is happening, so that way if they are seeing something that is concerning for us, we can troubleshoot that.
So fans should feel safe.
Absolutely. I think when you look at these stadiums, when you look at these fan festivals, we'll take the stadiums first and foremost. Here in the United States, it will appear like 78 Super Bowls from a security perspective. Take a look first and foremost at the security perimeters. It's going to take a little longer than it takes for a normal, let's say, Cowboy game if you're going to Dallas Stadium in Arlington, or a normal soccer game to get in. We've been urging fans to get in there, well before game time, at least an hour before game time. Get yourself. Gates open 3 hours before game time. There are great activations by FIFA. You can watch some of the opening ceremonies. You can watch your team warm up, all the things that are around that. Really, really key to do that because of the security perimeters around there. But also from a counter-UAS perspective. We talked about drones for a minute there before with Mexico and Canada, but I could tell you that the real key difference between last year and this year is the threat picture with drones. What we've done is we've taken 2025, where you had 5 special events covered for counter-UAS around the United States of America, only 5. All 78 matches in the United States will be covered for counter-drone coverage, counter-UAS mitigation, and then every fan fest, or I say one fan fest in every city throughout the duration of this World Cup will have counter-drone coverage. That's been the incredible work, not just of the White House Task Force, but also the Air Sovereignty Task Force, of the FBI standing up the FBI schoolhouse, of Congress passing the Safer Skies Act, of President Trump having the foresight to be able to pass the Air Sovereignty EO, creating the Air Sovereignty Task Force, and of the incredible work of getting $500 million in federal funding to be reimbursed for our state and locals to buy counter-UAS mitigation equipment.
I want to turn now to immigration. As you know, the case of Mr. Omar Artan, the Somali referee who was barred from entering the U.S. last weekend, has triggered a lot of controversy here in the U.S. and globally. Why was he banned from entering the U.S. and deported?
Yeah, so very simply, the president has created many pathways for players, coaches, fans to be able to come in the country. We look, every single player has received access to the United States that's applied. Every coach that's received access. There will be a few officials, and there'll be, in the case of the referee there, he was talking to some very bad people right as he was coming to the United States. And there's some classified information we can't discuss now. At some point that may be released. But what I can tell you is it was the right decision by CBP. It was the right decision by the Secretary of Homeland Security, and I stand by that decision.
I know you said some of the information is classified, but is there any information you can provide about the extent and nature of that contact that you said was happening with bad actors?
Yeah, we can't talk about the contact and who he was contacting in particular, but what I can tell you is that communication was happening before he was coming to the United States of America. It was not in the immediate. It was not a few years before. This was immediately before he was coming to the United States. And what the president has made very, very clear is we want to welcome the world here for this World Cup. I think when you look at what we've done from an ESTA processing perspective with our 19 ESTA countries that have qualified just in the first half of this fiscal year, so from October 1 to March 31st, they've processed over 5 million ESTAs just in the 19 countries that have qualified. Amazing. Then you look at Brazil and Argentina. Brazil had wait times, B1, B2 wait times of 700 days. Now it's less than 2 weeks to get your B1, B2 visa appointment to come in the country. Argentina, Buenos Aires, it was 300 days a couple years ago. That's now down to 2 days at this moment. So the president has done really amazing things to be able to create legal pathways, while also being clear that he's not going to let a soccer tournament be the reason or be the cover for bad actors to come in the country.
And going back to the case of Mr. Artan, he was denied entry last weekend, and soon after UEFA, which as you know is the governing body of soccer in Europe, selected him to officiate the European Super Cup final between PSG and Aston Villa. FIFA said that it undertook a 3-year campaign to vet the potential referees for this World Cup. Did they miss something that the U.S. has, or is it possible that the U.S. made a mistake in denying him entry?
I stand by the decision of CBP. I stand by the decision of the Secretary of Homeland Security. It was the right decision. Our mandate is to keep the United States of America safe while welcoming the world that wants to come here and enjoy this.
Okay. As you know, the Iranian team originally was set to train here in the U.S. because they have many of their matches here. Now they're training on the other side of the border in Mexico. The country says that some team officials and support staff were denied U.S. entry. Is that accurate? And if so, why did that occur?
That is accurate. I can point to the fact that all the players have received their visas. I can point to the fact that all the coaches have as well, so should not affect any of the play that's going on the pitch. The team will be allowed to come in match day -1, so the day before the match. They'll be asked to leave the day that the match wraps up, so the evening of the match, and they'll be able to do that again in Los Angeles, and they'll be able to do it again in Seattle, and then if they qualify for the next round, for the round of 32, they'll be able to do that again. Again, the president wants to make sure that we're talking about what actually happens on the pitch. A lot of that is making sure that things are safe and secure, not just around the stadiums, but around base camps and training sites. We're very happy with the way things have gone so far with that team, and we'll continue to keep a very, very close eye on monitoring it.
And why were some team officials denied entry?
Well, look, Secretary Rubio said very clearly, right? Anybody with direct ties to the IRGC is not coming in the United States of America, and they're not going to let the World Cup be the reason why they can come in. So I think it's very clear why.
And you found that some of the team officials had direct ties to the repressive regime in Tehran.
Again, I'll reference Secretary Rubio. I'll reference what
you're
he said
suggesting
just
that
recently on that. Certainly, you can draw your own conclusions,
okay.
But I think it's pretty obvious why. The one thing, though, that I can point to is you look at the players on the field. They're all going to be able to come in. They're all going to be able to play.
What about the coach?
As well. Coaches as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Have any players been blocked from entering the U.S.? Any team players?
No.
Okay. Because there have been reports of some players, including from the Iraqi team, being questioned, being referred for secondary inspection at airports across the country.
Yeah, there have been a few that have been referred for secondary. There are some people that have charges against them that, may not potentially be, if the players in particular, if it wasn't for the World Cup, they may not necessarily be allowed to enter into the United States. But the president has wanted to make sure that this World Cup the competitive balance is there for this World Cup. So we've done everything we can to make sure that players can get in. But at this point, every player has come in. Every player that has an active visa to be able to come in. We know that I think 39 of the 48 teams are starting in the United States of America or basing in the United States of America. And there's been no issues in terms of that. Yeah, a few of them had to go into secondary there. But they've been able to get out within a couple of hours to do that. Yeah.
Do you foresee any players being blocked from entering the U.S. in the future?
Look, I don't want to talk in hypotheticals. I can tell you that I've reviewed the reports. I feel confident that players are going to be able to get in, but we're focused on it 24/7.
I recently interviewed the White House border czar, Tom Homan, and he said that ICE will be providing some security at some of the events for the World Cup, the stadiums. Have you been briefed on what that plan actually looks like and the role that ICE will be undertaking? Because that has also triggered some concerns.
Yeah, absolutely. They will. They have major events. Go back even to the Super Bowl just earlier this year. ICE, HSI, plays a really, really key role in the security footprint at major events. I also would point to the anti-human trafficking efforts, and I'd point to Boston just a few short days ago when ICE HSI ended up announcing that they were able to save 35 victims of human trafficking. When you think about these major events, that's one of the real key things that they do. So if you were to take ICE HSI, let's say, out of the equation, you'd be doing a couple of things. First and foremost, you'd be taking subject matter experts that understand how to secure major events, and then you'd be removing them from the equation. That's a really, really bad idea when you're talking about federal law enforcement working with state and local law enforcement over a 39-day stretch. But also what you'd be doing, you'd be actually really making it easier for those persecutors of human trafficking to be able to get away with the terrible things that they're doing. I mean, ICE HSI does an incredible job at making sure that we uncover every single stone that we can to be able to help those victims of human trafficking, help save them.
Have you gotten any assurances that ICE will not be engaging in immigration enforcement at the stadiums?
Yeah, what I can tell you is people who have come to the country here legally, we've created many legal pathways for this tournament to do that, have nothing to worry about. They're going to have an incredible time here in the United States, and we're excited for this tournament to start.
What about people here illegally? Should they be going to the matches?
Look, there are. I refer you to Secretary Mullen on that question.
Okay. There have been some concerns expressed by people, including the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, that essentially argue that the Trump administration's immigration policies are casting a shadow and negatively impacting the World Cup. How would you respond to that?
I'd respond to the fact that there are over 6 million tickets sold. The previous record was 3.5 million. So certainly, I always like to say that in politics, people have narratives. And it's the facts, it's the data that tell you whether those narratives are true or whether they're false. And we could see that that's just a fictional narrative. With over 6 million tickets sold, I think you've seen through a few days now, all the stadiums packed, all the people that are coming to the United States of America for this incredible World Cup. It's been fantastic to see. I expect that to continue throughout the tournament. And look, there are people that ultimately want to take a global event that has incredible cachet, that has billions of people watching it, and utilize it for their political narratives. They just happen to be false.
You think those concerns are politically motivated?
I think so, and I think more than anything, you look at the numbers here, right? You look at how many people are coming here to the United States for this event. You look at the fact that over 6 million tickets have been sold, smashing previous records, and it tells you that the golden age of America is here.
But there are 4 countries, the Ivory Coast, Iran, Senegal, and also Haiti, that are in the tournament, but their citizens are on the travel ban enacted by the president, and many of them can't come here to watch their teams enjoy the tournament. What would you say to the argument that the U.S. is banning many spectators, fans, from being able to enjoy this tournament?
Well, the Ivory Coast and Senegal has pathways for fans to get in, right? If you've bought a ticket, you can utilize the FIFA pass in order to be able to do that and seek a waiver. So I would kind of point to the 2 countries that, in terms of Haiti and Iran.
They face categorical bans.
They do, and I think rightfully so. I mean, when you look first and foremost at, sadly, Haiti right now, unfortunately, and this is not due to the people of Haiti. I think when you look at the government, you're being run by a guy who ultimately is. It's a terrible situation in there, and the visa overstays here in the United States have been over 33% here for Haiti. So, understandably, the president and his team have realized that that's something that can't happen. We can't ultimately have people come to the United States without any plan to potentially go home, right? So, and Iran, it's obvious, right? With the conflict in Iran right now, we can't risk national security in having their fans come in.
As you know, another source of concern among fans is the ticket pricing and the dynamic pricing scheme that FIFA has enacted for this World Cup. Is there anything that the U.S. has done or is planning to do to alleviate some of those concerns and to make sure that people are not priced out from enjoying this tournament?
Yeah, and I think that's where, when you go back a couple questions ago and talk about, well, people are saying that people don't want to come to the United States, but ticket prices are too high because of the demand. They're competing narratives, right? I mean, one of the reasons why FIFA enacted dynamic ticket pricing is because they realized that they were only going to have so limited a supply for the incredible demand. I think the demand was over 500 million ticket requests for the 7 million tickets. And because of that, and yes, the president has said this, ticket prices are high. What the president has done, I could tell you a few different things. First and foremost, we know that FIFA sold 1,000 tickets at each match for $60 a ticket. So they did create a pathway. It's a small amount. But then I'll also tell you what the president leaned in on, and kudos to FIFA and Bank of America for this, was creating a pathway for 4,547 of our military veterans and first responders to be able to gain access to these World Cup games, including 250 for each of the U.S. men's national team game. Pretty amazing when you think that for this major event, America's greatest heroes can enjoy that with us.
How far do you think the U.S. team can go in this tournament?
Well, I've been on the record already predicting that they're going to win the World Cup in PKs. in New Jersey on the 19th of July. I think it's a team right now that is calm. I think inspired. I think they realize the opportunity that they have in front of them. A lot of good men on that team, and I think they realize that they're not just representing their country in a World Cup, which is something so special. They're doing it on home soil, and they get to do it over our 250th birthday. Man, what a story for the United States of America when they make a deep run here.
Okay. Mr. Giuliani, is there something I did not ask you that you wanted to underscore?
Yeah, I think more than anything, just the incredible coordination that's gone into this. It's been amazing. It's not just the White House task force. It's the 11 host committees here in the United States. It's FIFA. It's the 400 law enforcement organizations. It's all the federal partners that we have. It's the state partners, both from a political standpoint, from a law enforcement standpoint. It's the local partners that have done an incredible job. Local law enforcement is going to be so key when we're talking about the whole country, the whole continent, over the course of 40 days. What an opportunity we have here in the United States, and we're seeing just how well this can work, and really why the United States can host a World Cup unlike any other country, at a level that unlike any other country can do. What a great opportunity it is to show off American exceptionalism over our 250th birthday.